Welcome again to New York Talk. This is the Scant Report. We'll look ahead to our next opponent, and this time is the only South Yorkshire derby this season, and it's against Sheffield Wednesday. High flying is not the word. We'll talk about him. We have Wayne, who is the founder, manager, runner of Kimo Sports, who's helped the podcast out a lot in the past. Wayne, how's it going?
Not bad, mate. How are you? Seems to be going pretty well for you this season, podcast-wise, not necessarily in league, but...
It's digging it. I was not for that. Better than you. Yeah, well...
it's the only time I can have a dig at people, so, I've got to have a bit of fun with it, haven't I?
Yeah, definitely. Let's go back, Wayne. Let's go back to the start of the season.
Do we have to? Please.
I think what everybody's interested, everybody outside Sheffield Wednesday is interested in is on the 30th of May or whatever it was when you won in the playoffs. How long were you allowed to enjoy it for? Because it was about 10 days later you lost a manager. It's just a really odd summer, oddest summer I can remember, possibly ever of any club.
Yeah, it says a lot, particularly of how poorly run Wednesday's been for the last 25 years.
True.
So we'll roll back. We go on a 22-game unbeaten run that takes us to mid-March. We're working out how many more points we need to win the league, whether we can get 100 points, 100 goals, etc. All of a sudden, we lose to Barnsley. We then go on a 2-month horrendous run where we play... I think when I worked it out, I think we only played well in one game in 2 months, and that was the Peterborough semi-final. Even the playoff final, we didn't play that well. Yeah. I went down there. It was not a great game to watch. We played 10 men for the last half an hour of our normal time and extra time. I managed to get a winner in the 121st minute or whatever it was. So that was great. I annoyed a lot of Barnsley fans. It's always entertaining. And then you have this sort of hangover period after promotion where you're riding high and you don't really think about football. You're still sort of, rewatching the Peterborough game once an hour, every hour, And then a couple of rumblings started coming out, people saying something's going on. Mo's not signing a new contract, which just seemed like Twitter nonsense, as it normally is with Wednesday. And then, all of a sudden, he's... I don't think they use the term sacked. He won't be having his contract renewed. He's gone. Head of recruitment goes to Blackpool, who have just been relegated to League One, which was odd. So we go into the end of June with no manager, no assistant manager, no head of recruitment. And so we'd only got one person running recruitment at that point, which was Chansiri's son, which I think is about 16 now. So, he's growing up. Fair play to him. Yeah. Fair play to that. And it just goes from worse to worse. We appoint a manager who was an odd appointment. Didn't have any pre-season. I went down to the Chesterfield game sort of mid-July, and there was no one playing that was new. It was just the players we'd already got, plus youth players. And we go into a week before the start of the season with, I think, only one signing. So everyone's surprised we started so badly. No one should be surprised. It was awful. It was an awful June and July. August, September, October, and no doubt November.
Yeah. Xisco came in, like you said. Was there a moment at any time during the season where you thought, you know what, this guy might have got something worked out and I could see a plan, this, that, and the other? Or was it just a complete disaster from minute one to last minute?
I mean, the opening day of the season was Southampton, who still had all of their senior players from Premier League. They still had Ward-Prowse. They still had that Teller Outwing. They were all, it weren't really a fair analysis. So I walked out of that game thinking there were moments in that game that we played okay. There were a lot of moments where they absolutely destroyed us, but it's not really a barometer. We get battered by Hull. And then I went to the Preston game at home, and I think I watched maybe 20, 25 minutes of football where I thought, if we could do this for 90 minutes, we won't be too bad, It's not fantastic football, but it'll probably be effective. And that 25 minutes was the only 25 minutes of effective football I saw on the Xisco. I couldn't quite work out game to game how we wanted to play. It seemed every game they had a different plan, and none of those plans involved shooting.
That was a problem.
And 5 goals from 13 league games this season probably explains a lot of the problems we've got at the club at the minute.
Yeah. He's responsible for your worst record, worst start in your history, worst start in the Championship history. Did he get a few games too long, or did Chancellor pull the trigger at basically the right time? He gave him a chance, didn't
he? He did. I'm not a big fan of this sacking managers early. I would have liked to have seen him just give him a little bit more time, but maybe that's just because I'm a little bit old-fashioned and I don't think managers need sacking that quickly. But when I went to the last game in charge away at West Brom, and it was rubbish, as all the other games had been. And there was a feeling after that game, as everyone walking out, that he'll probably be gone because Darren Moore's coming on Saturday, and there's no way Chancellor's going to want Moore to batter his replacement. So when it came out the next day he'd been sacked, no one's that surprised. I think, in hindsight, I'm quite relieved because I don't think it would have got any better under Xisco. But then maybe we're blaming Xisco for playing the players that we've got. Sure, the bigger problem is the players that we've got, who were either leftovers from last season that weren't that good last season, with a couple of exceptions, or players that seem to come from either way left field, like Paul Valentin and Anthony Masaba, or odd signings to make, like Bambo Diaby. And there doesn't seem to be any obvious plan on how we want to play at the club, which is, it's just weird. The whole thing of the club's weird. The recruitment's weird. The management choice is weird. Hopefully that improves under Danny Rohl.
Yeah, Danny Rohl, another manager where we have to go. Is that how you say his name properly?
I have no idea. I honestly don't know. I know they were singing like Danny Rohl to like the tune like Daddy Cool. So that's what I'm going with. I've seen it wrote down. That's all I'm going with. Germany is fantastic.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if there's been any improvement over the last two games, and then I saw you sent me the video of the second goal against Plymouth, which was one of the funniest goals. If you haven't watched the Wednesday highlights from the Plymouth game, go and watch them because the second goal is pure comedy gold. Has there been an improvement? It doesn't look like there's been an improvement, but
having watched, I didn't watch the first half of the Watford game. I watched the second half, and I watched all the Plymouth game. The tempo's better. The work rate is better, which might seem a bit different given the fact that second goal. But we seem to be playing a lot more direct, trying to get the ball forward a lot quicker. I think it's difficult to say improvement though, because we're still not having shots on goal. Watford, we had a couple of good chances. Hendricks missed a header. Windass missed one. Plymouth last night, we should have been 1-0 up inside 5 minutes. Windass volleyed one to the bottom corner, and Lee Gregory decided very kindly to block it from going in, which was nice of him. But it's still, it's still not enough. If you don't take shots, we're not going to score.
We know that.
And at present, Josh Windass is a very good player and good enough to be playing in the Championship. I've no doubt about that. But he's not I wouldn't say he's a striker. He's more of a forward in that he sits in that sort of hole behind the strikers and gets the ball to free and plays well. But we're playing a 4-2-3-1 formation, and that one striker, whoever it is that we're playing up front, is neither taking shots and subsequently nor scoring goals.
Yeah.
So that's the big issue there. I actually think we need to take a bit of a risk on Sunday, and we've got a lad in the academy called Bailey Cadamatri, Danny Cadamatri's son.
Both of you will remember.
If anyone can remember Danny Cadamatri, and he's scored, I think, 12 goals for the under-21s so far this season. And he was on the bench for the Huddersfield game when the under-21s coach was caretaker. I'd like to see him play Sunday just because he knows how to score and no one else up front seems to at the moment.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if he gets a game or not.
In fairness, George Hurst scored lots of goals for your youth team.
He did. George Hurst looked fantastic in youth team. But we're not allowed to talk about him anymore. He don't exist. I think he's retired. I don't think he exists anywhere, to the best of my knowledge. So we don't talk about him.
You talk about strikers. Michael Smith seems to fall massively out of favour with the two new managers. Are you surprised he even stayed with you guys this season?
I am actually. I think you guys proved 2 years ago that if he was good enough in League One, he'd be good enough at Championship. But for some reason with Michael Smith, it just doesn't equate that way.
Yeah,
not really sure what the issue in the step up is. He got 20 goals last season, but he's not played even in any of the League Cup games that he's played in. So he's not played well in any game so far this season. He's trying to bully players the way that he did in League One.
Can't do it.
And he can't do it because the players are faster, stronger, smarter. And he just looks out of his depth, to be honest, which is a shame. We're not having anything against Michael Smith, but when there was rumours that Paul Warren wanted him at Derby, I know you're not allowed to say that name because Michael.
We are now. We finished it last season. Yeah, no fine for that.
All right, sorry, Mick. When Derby came in and went after him on deadline day, I'm really surprised we didn't let him go and try to get a replacement for him. But such is life. Same with Michael Ekwe, just not getting a look in. Made an absolute howler against Hull. Got dropped for a few games, came back for one, dropped again. Danny Rohl doesn't seem too interested in him. Okay. It's a big issue at the minute.
That'd be music to some Rotherham fans' ears that aren't over the move for both of them. So, although again, Smith is very likely to score on Sunday. He might come on for 10 minutes at the end, but he's very likely to score and give it the big one in front of Rotherham fans, I suspect, because he'll get the treatment. I'd have thought.
Understandable.
Yeah. Talked about this derby, Wayne. Where does this derby rank? Because Wednesday fans like to tell us that we're irrelevant and it's not a real derby. This is where you say something stupid and get crap on Twitter. What?
Oh, God, yeah.
So you're only South Yorkshire derby.
I've said this before. There's a difference between a derby and a rivalry.
Yes.
Derbies are based on locality. Rivalries are based on a number of factors, including locality, but also history, where the clubs stand, fan base, stuff like that. This is a derby game. There's no doubt. It's 6 miles away. You can't not call it a derby game. Historically, Wednesday fans don't see Rotherham as a rival. That's the sad truth of it. The last 20 years, that's changed because the clubs have sort of balanced out in their performances, and you've spent enough seasons above Wednesday, and Wednesday spent seasons above Rotherham. But there's still not this feeling of rivalry between the fans, other than the Rotherham Owls that like to wind up Rotherham fans. That's the
once a year,
that's
twice
the
a year.
So, of course, we want to win, and I want to be able to take the mick out of you because that's fun, and that's what I've been doing for the last, nearly 20 years now. But it's not a fair analogy to call it a rivalry. Is
it similar to Barnsley and Donny and things like that for you, I assume?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any feelings either way about Donny.
No, I get it.
Barnsley's slightly different. We spent a lot of time with them, and after May, it's just really funny to see Barnsley fans. I've got an uncle who's a Barnsley fan that's been avoiding me for 3 months. Even the fact we're getting battered now, I still won't answer my messages. So.
Fair enough. Right, let's trouble you for a prediction then, Wayne. I've written the wrong name on my list. Wayne, how is Sunday going to play out? Is it going to be the first win of the season for Sheffield Wednesday?
Oh, God, my heart says yes, because it would fit perfectly. The problem is, although you've got problems at centre-half yourself, we haven't got anyone that can score, so those problems are irrelevant.
Yeah.
If I were using my head, I'd probably go for a draw, 1-1, because I could see either side making an absolute howler that leads to a goal.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably me being generous because I'm probably leaning more towards losing 2-1. But we're going to go with 1-1 out of optimism. My head will not tell me that there's a win there because the team's just not good enough at the minute. Fair
enough. Thank you very much, Wayne. Wayne, I mentioned Kimbo at the start. Just let people a very quick breakdown of what Kimbo do, what your services, and if people want to find more information about your organisation, what can they do? Where can they find it?
Yeah, sure. So we've been helping support you guys out with some New York Talk caps, which you can probably see in the background there that are just piled up. I've only got about half a dozen of those left, actually. They've done well, actually. Basically, we're a sportswear company. We do football kits. We're moving into cricket kits as well, starting next season. Leisure wear such as this that I'm shamelessly promoting here. But we don't just do the Kimbo stuff. We also do Nike, Adidas, Umbro, Puma, all the other things as well. So if you're a Sunday League team, Saturday team, you've got a five-a-side team looking for a new kit, drop us a message. We are based in Rotherham, so you can't.
As are all Sheffield Wednesday fans. So
yes, 75% obviously. Happy to help out, and as always, every time you help out, it means we can support New York Talk a little bit more. And I've not told you this, Lexi, I've got some bucket hats as well. I managed to secure some bucket hats for you.
Bucket hats. Now we're talking.
Yes. It's a great time to bring them out in October, but I've got some.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Thank you very much, Wayne. Thank you, everybody who's watching. Please make sure you've liked the video and subscribe on YouTube if you have done already. And keep an eye out for the next episode, which is probably the review now on Sunday night, probably. But anyway, thank you, everybody, for watching, being with us, and up the Millers.